If you like the content that we're pushing out, please like, share, and of course subscribe. And let us know in the comments what you think about our videos. Like, why would you watch it and not tell us what's going on? And I hope to see you later on. Peace out. Welcome to another video on alternative factuals. Without further ado, let's get started. A lot of people have been requesting that I do things related to powerful DC characters and Marvel characters in relation to their TV shows. Now, since I've gotten that request, I'm going to do so. And one of the first characters that seem to come up in the inbox that we have, or even in Discord or Facebook or whatever the case may be, is Legion. Now, there's a TV show called Legion. I believe it's on Fox, if I'm correct. Now, the Legion TV show is pretty trippy. And if you don't really understand what's going on in the TV show, you can be a little lost about what's happening. But I'm going to try and sort through the character basics for the main character of David Haller, so that way you can better understand what's going on for his character. But David Haller is the main character in the Fox TV show Legion. As I said, his name is actually Legion in the X-Men comic books. I don't think he's made any appearances in any live action movie besides, Legion TV series. But Legion is what we call an Omega level, well, he's actually a beyond Omega level mutant, to correct myself. A Omega level mutant one, well, let's get through the classifications. Now, an alpha level mutant is people like Wolverine, who just simply have a healing factor, who, even though their healing factor is very potent, very powerful, and even though they have enhanced strength and enhanced senses, what they do is relatively ground level. They can't really manipulate reality on a universal or multiversal scale, anything like that. So they're just basically ground level mutants, powerhouses that are not really extremely powerful, but their powers are very specific to them and their immediate environment and how they use it. And then you have mutants who are considered Omega level mutants. Omega level mutants would be like Iceman, Magneto, and people like that who are able to manipulate a planet, like planet-wise manipulation in terms of the elements, or even planet-wise manipulation in terms of reality. So you have mutants like that. Then you actually have beyond Omega level mutants. So beyond Omega level mutants include things such as being able to warp reality on a universal scale, on a multiversal scale. Like Franklin Richards is a mutant who can warp reality on a universal scale. And he is equivalent, if not a little more powerful than Galactus. And he is actually said to be equal, actually, in his prime to the Celestials. And the Celestials are cosmic entities. So that's a pretty powerful thing. Let's get down to David Haller. He suffers from schizophrenia and multiple personality disorder. Now, each of his personalities actually have their own sets of powers, and it is unknown how many personalities David Haller has in his head. So he can have hundreds and hundreds of personalities, and a couple of them can warp reality on a universal scale. There has been an instance in X-Men where he has actually warped reality and changed the timeline by himself on a subconscious level due to whatever he was experiencing in his mental psyche. But in the TV shows, what I think is going on is the mental asylum is actually his head. He's jumping between his head and reality in multiple occasions in order for him to understand what's going on. Now, the mental asylum represents different people, like he has himself in the mental asylum. Then he has someone else. Each time the person in his head actually gets taken to that room inside the mental asylum, I think that's when someone is actually taking over his physical body. That's when a personality is taking over his physical body, because usually during that point in time you realize that his personality starts to change, or when he starts to make a slight shift in the way he does things and the way he perceives things. And that's what makes this whole TV series pretty interesting, because most of it seems to take place in his head, and then you can never really determine what's reality and what's not. And often I do believe that they're making that correlation, like this is what's going on in his head and this is how it lines up with reality, but they never fully confirm which is which, because that's kind of how things take place in his head, because he's a schizophrenic as well as a person who suffers from multiple personality disorder. Now, at some point in the comic books, David Haller actually does maintain or develop some sort of control over these personalities, and it's used by some sort of device that allows him to tap into each personality that he has in his head. And like I said earlier in the video, each personality has their own set of powers. So you have some that are able to warp reality at different levels, others have pyromancy, and others have mental telepathy and all that stuff. Now, in the series, I don't really think they're going to truly explore the full extent of his power. I think they're just trying to get into this kind of journey, what's going on in his head, and they're trying to kind of keep you in the dark about how his mind truly deeply works, while at the same time trying to keep you in the dark about who he is. Only those who've read the comics or have an understanding of who he is really understands what's going on, or have a basic understanding of what's going on in the series, and kind of the point of view that they're taking in terms of direction that they're trying to go in terms of how they're portraying the mind of David Haller. Now, like I said, this video is not meant to be super long, but David Haller is extremely powerful, and the show is actually pretty good at portraying how his schizophrenia and multiple personality disorder works. But if you have any further questions about his character, please leave a comment down below, and of course like, share, and subscribe, and let me know in the comments as well if you enjoy these kind of videos where we explain the powerhouses of these TV series for Marvel and DC related shows, and even maybe some independent shows as well if there's some sort of reference for their characters. And I hope to see you in the next one. Peace out, Zaddy.